So, as you may know, the Criterion collection has a collection of top 10 lists by various directors and actors. And I thought I'd do mine. And I originally thought I would have a tie, because a lot of times they'll have a tie. They'll have maybe the entire Cassavetes box set in one tier of their list. So I thought I would do for number one, Eight and a Half, Breathless, Seven Samurai, Seven Seal, all that jazz. But but it kind of feels like cheating, so I'll stick with just one for each. And the first one, The Bicycle Thief, also known as Bicycle Thieves. This is from 1948, directed by Vittorio De Sica. And because it's so old, it might be the first Italian neo-realist film. I'm not sure if it is or not. But it's the first one that I saw. And I think it's very foundational for art house film and appreciating classic world cinema. And when I put this list together, I thought that I would have more formalistic style films, closer to avant-garde. But it turns out I more frequently watch more realist films. And I think that because of that, Bicycle Thieves is the best choice for the number one spot. In fact, in my first attempt at making a short film called Quarter Life, the opening scene was the main character, Leo, finding out that his bike was stolen, and it kind of goes on from there. But anyways, I think this is the consummate art house film. And moving on to number two, even though I mentioned all of my the realist films in this top 10 list, I would say Eraserhead is my second favorite movie in the Criterion collection. This is from 1977, directed by David Lynch, of course. This is his first feature. It took him 5 years to make and cost about $10,000, which from 1972 to 1977, $10,000 I think inflated quite a lot. But anyways, this particular Blu-ray comes with in the setup, David Lynch made it so that he wanted so that you would set your TV, the brightness, the right way, and color balance. And I thought that's really cool. I wish that all of my Blu-rays and DVDs had that feature. But this also has a lot of short films that David Lynch made when he was in film school. And this is a very avant-garde, formalistic style of movie. And watching this movie the first time, I didn't really understand it a lot. There's a lot of symbolism, a lot to interpret, and I think that it brought me to the movie community on YouTube. So, Eraserhead, make sure to watch it. Actually, I almost wore my Eraserhead shirt for this, but then I thought that would be a little tacky. So number 3, it's a movie called Naked. A lot of people pick this up during their Criterion closet picks. And this is from 1993. It was directed by Mike Leigh. Not Spike Lee, Mike Leigh. It's from England, the UK. And what's really cool about Mike Leigh is he will work with the actors to create their own characters. And they sort of write the script together with that. Excuse me. And one thing I really love about this is the gothic aesthetic from London back in the 90s. I think that's really cool. And it has a lot of philosophical questions that this character played by Michael Thewlis asks. And this Blu-ray also comes with a short film that actually I think it was a TV short that Mike Leigh did with Michael Thewlis. And it's a bit long, actually. It's 10 minutes over 2 hours, but yes, Naked from 1993 by Mike Leigh. Number 4 is Hunger. I just picked this up during the July Barnes & Noble sale in 2021, and I've been eyeballing this for a while. I talked about it in my last video, so obviously. It's from 2008, directed by Steve McQueen. Not the actor Steve McQueen, but the director, a black man from England. It's set in Northern Ireland, in a prison where IRA political prisoners have gotten their political status taken away by Margaret Thatcher. And in protest to that, they don't bathe and they don't wear the prison uniforms. And Margaret Thatcher kind of gave them their demands, but not fully to what they were hoping, so they kind of got duped. And out of protest to that, this character played by Michael Fassbender, Bobby Sands, he went on a hunger strike that lasted 66 days. And this movie is, the first and the third acts are very quiet, and they're filled with a lot of action. And then in the second act, there's a very long, very static scene where Bobby Sands is talking to a priest about his hunger strike. And just watching this made me instantly love it. It's one of my new favorites. Moving on to number 5, The Piano Teacher. This is from 2001. It was directed by Michael Haneke. It's set in Austria, in Vienna, but it's the language is French. And it's a really good interpretation of borderline personality disorder. Just briefly, the piano teacher is a very uptight woman who is she's being courted by another musician, a younger, more whimsical guy, and when she finally kind of falls for him, she becomes very crazy about him, and also incredibly jealous. At one point, he's being very nice to one of her students, and what she does is she takes a glass, wraps it in a cloth handkerchief of some kind, stomps on it, and then pours the glass into her student's coat pocket, ruining her hands so she could no longer play music. Oh, that's from 2001, by the way. Okay, Number 6 is House from 1977 by Nobuhiko Obayashi. A very surrealist film. The characters are, I think, about 7 girls with names like Kung Fu, Professor, Sweet. What are some of the other character names? Anyways, they it has kind of a Scooby-Doo feel to it. It's very silly. Anyways, they go to visit this haunted this house with I think the character's name is Beautiful. They visit her grandmother or her aunt or something. Anyways, it's a really wild film, and this painting behind me is inspired by the cover art. So number 7 is the only one from the Eclipse series, and that's Putney Swope. Putney Swope is from 1969, and it was directed by Robert Downey Sr. And basically, it's an advertising firm in the 60s, and the CEO dies, and he leaves the company to a black man named Putney Swope. And Putney turns the company very, very black and jive, and even their advertising becomes very funny. They have little advertisements, little shorts that are very funny and creative. It's in black and white, but some of the commercials they make are in color. And one thing that really stood out to me was just the title, Putney Swope, the name of the character. You know, it's really hard to come up with good names for characters and titles for projects, but yeah, I thought this was just really very literary. It's one thing that I'm very jealous of. Also, it's recommended highly by Paul Thomas Anderson. So number 8, from 1973, The Friends of Eddie Coyle. This was directed by Peter Yates. Peter Yates also directed the movie Bullet, and both of those movies, Bullet and Eddie Coyle, are also known for their long silences. You know, you're not always listening, you're watching. The director, Steve McQueen, who directed Hunger, would call it, you're sort of watching this poetry play out on screen. And this is a crime movie from the 70s, and it's set in Boston, which is really cool because you always see them set in New York. And I wish there were more movies that were in like different American cities, like Detroit and Baltimore, especially before they kind of deteriorated. But Robert Mitchum plays a gun seller, and he makes a deal to, I think, set somebody up. And there's also bank robbers, and they wear masks. Anyways, Peter Boyle is also in this, and I love seeing Peter Boyle in movies from back in the day. Actually, I heard of this first from, I think his name is Jason Mantzoukas, who said that his grandfather was a bartender. The bar that Peter Boyle works at is Jason Mantzoukas' grandfather's bar, and his grandfather's in the background tending bar while Robert Mitchum and Peter Boyle are talking. Let me see if you can get a good look at that cover art. without the glare. So you can see they would all wear these clear masks that were all identical. And I just thought that was a really cool touch. Really cool detail that I haven't seen in any other movies. So staying on that sort of theme of the crime drama, is the only Cassavetes film in this top 10 list, The Killing of a Chinese Bookie. This is from the John Cassavetes box set that everybody recommends so much. Who's the director? Barry Jenkins described it as a film school in itself. This is from 1976, although there's also a 1978 re-edit that's a little bit shorter. But the thing about John Cassavetes' movies, for me, is even when they're long, they don't feel that long. It goes by really fast because they're not as epic as like samurai movies, for example. And Ben Gazzara in this movie, he plays a strip club owner in Los Angeles, and he goes to a high roller poker game owned by the mob, and he gets in deep debt with them, and to pay back that debt, they send Ben Gazzara to kill a Chinese bookie. This very important Chinese book runner. And just a very, very good film. A lot of people, when they talk about their favorite Cassavetes movie, they always bring up A Woman Under the Influence. And unfortunately, I guess I need to change the batteries in all of my stuff every time I do a new video. Anyways, Chinese bookie. What's it talking about? Yeah, unfortunately, Jenna Rawlings and John Cassavetes are not in this movie, but there is Timothy Carey, really interesting actor. Frank Zappa liked him a lot, and Timothy Carey is in this movie. And when I got this, I also got like One-Eyed Jacks, and he's in that. And one other movie that he was in. Oh, The Killing by Stanley Kubrick. He was one of the guys in that. But anyways, yeah, really cool. I say cool too much. A really, really fun movie for me. Killing of a Chinese Bookie by John Cassavetes. And finally, number 10. On the Criterion website, they reveal it from 1 to 10, so it's not like a big reveal of what number 1 is. But anyways, number 10, I think, fittingly is... Jesus. Declog. From 1988 through 1989. This is a Polish miniseries by Krzysztof Kieslowski. And Krzysztof Kieslowski, he directed 3 colors, red, blue, white, and red. And so this one, Declog, is a 10-part miniseries, like I said, interpreting the 10 Commandments. And so because of that, I thought it would be good for the number 10 spot. Even if maybe I like some of these other movies less than it. I just thought it would fit really well for number 10. But yeah, it's really cool how he interprets the 10 commandments. Like I think the second commandment is, "Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain." I think maybe that's the third one actually. But anyways, how Krzysztof Kieslowski interprets that is a doctor who is treating a terminal patient, whose wife is wondering if he's going to die. And she's asking this doctor, how long does he have to live? But because he's a strict Catholic, he says he can't tell her because that would be taking the Lord's name in vain. And yeah, this is another very long thing to watch, but it doesn't feel very long because it's broken up into 10 different episodes. And I think the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," he has a feature length version of that he did. And that one's a lot more stylistically different than the rest of them. This also comes with a documentary about making Declog. Anyways, all of these characters, all of the stories, they all live in the same apartment building. A brutalist-looking, formalistic building in Warsaw, Poland. And there's a character in this miniseries who shows up in almost all of the episodes. I think he shows up in all of them. But he shows up in almost all of them at least. And there's also one thing that shows up a lot in this is milk. Characters will be giving. Milk shows up a lot into this. I think my favorite episode from this is "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's ox." That's a really good one. These two brothers find out that their father has died, and their father was a consummate stamp collector. And it's really interesting seeing them become obsessed with stamps, buying and selling them. I don't want to give away the ending. Sorry. Don't want to give away the ending, but yeah. So I thought, there's a lot of when you think of the Criterion collection, you think of La Dolce Vita, Breathless, Seven Samurai, things like that. But I kind of wanted to have things that were a little less well known for people to watch. And here you can see, if I can get them, you can see them all together. They look pretty good together. I love looking at my bookshelf and seeing all these Criterion spines. But yeah, I hope that you can watch this video and check out some new Criterions that you haven't heard of probably. And, I think I'm going to do one other top 10 list things, but that's not really what that's not going to be my thing. So if you're stumbling on this video and you want to see more Criterion themed videos, maybe some different stuff in the future, and I have every short film I've made, every class project I've made at school on my channel. So So if you like this video, you should like it, and if you want, you should subscribe to my channel, because I really would like to grow it, and I'm excited to make some new things. Anyways, thank you.